Welcome to Senior Moments, a production of the Plainfield-Guilford Township Public Library. I'm Nick, and I'm here today to share with you some food for thought and some food for fun for this week. Winter is finally here. We've had our first real dose of snow here in Plainfield for the year, and it looks like February is only going to get colder. This past year has impressed upon us the freedom that the outdoors has given us as some escape from the indoor quarantines to which we've become accustomed. But as we seem to be in the deepest part of winter, there appears to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Many of you have already had your vaccinations, and more of you will have received them by the end of the month. So keep your heads up. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how far away it may seem. I've got 2 jokes for you today. Here's the first one. While working with a customer, a barber noticed a young man walking down the street to his shop. He excitedly stopped and looked at his client. The kid about to walk in right now might be the dumbest kid you'll ever meet. When the young man walked in, the barber took out a dollar bill and put it on one side of his counter, and 2 quarters and put it on the other side of his counter. He asked the young man, "Which do you want?" The kid picked up the quarters, thanked the barber, and walked out of the shop. The barber turned to his customer and explained, "He comes by a couple of times a week, and he always picks the lesser amount. He just doesn't get it." After he was finished with his haircut, the customer walked down the street to the local ice cream shop and walked in and saw the kid enjoying an ice cream cone. A little curious, he walks up to the kid and says, "Hey, why do you always take the quarters and not the dollar bill? You know that 2 quarters are worth less than $1, right?" The boy replied, "Because the day I pick that dollar is the day he stops giving me money for free ice cream." Here's my second joke. A man is riding in a taxi. He's a visitor to the city and he has a question. So to get the driver's attention, he lightly taps him on the shoulder. The driver immediately screams and loses control of the car, narrowly missing several other vehicles and finally stopping on the sidewalk. The frustrated cab driver turns around and scolds his passenger. "Why on earth did you do that? You scared the absolute dickens out of me." The tourist apologized and explained, "It's pretty loud out here, so I thought you wouldn't be able to hear me. I'm sorry." The driver, a little bit more calmed down, replies, "Hey, you're not the only one experiencing something for the first time. Today is my first day driving the cab." The tourist said, "Oh, what did you do before?" The driver said, "Oh, I drove a hearse." For where did that come from? Today, I'm going to focus on idioms with a Shakespearean origin. There's arguably been no more influential force on the English language than William Shakespeare. So here are some idioms that he created in his plays. "A dish fit for the gods" comes from one of Brutus' soliloquies in Julius Caesar, where he and his co-conspirators are planning Caesar's assassination. "Let's carve him as a dish fit for the gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds." "Foaming at the mouth," which also makes an allusion to one of the symptoms of rabies, also stems from a line from Julius Caesar, where Casca describes a fit suffered by Caesar in Act 1. "He fell down in the marketplace and foamed at the mouth and was speechless." "Hot-blooded" is used to describe somebody as being quick and easy to emotion. It comes from one of Sir John Falstaff's soliloquies at the end of The Merry Wives of Windsor. "Well, the Windsor bell hath struck 12, the minute draws on. Now, the hot-blooded gods assist me." In stitches is often used to describe an uproarious bout of laughter. That particular saying can be found in a bit of dialogue by Maria in Twelfth Night. "If you desire the spleen and will laugh yourself into stitches, follow me." Sometimes you can hear jealousy personified as a green-eyed monster. This comes from a warning from the villainous Iago to Othello. "Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on." Othello, once again through Iago, also gives us the idea of wearing your heart on your sleeve, or making your emotions clearly discernible. From Iago's explanation to Roderigo. "The native act and figure of my heart and complement extern, 'Tis not long after, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeve for daws to peck at. I am not what I am. And finally, the use of one fell swoop to denote something taking just a single action comes from the Scottish play Macbeth. It occurs in a scene where Macduff is learning of the murder of his family by Macbeth. What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop? And now for Who Am I, where I describe in 5 clues a golden era celebrity, and you see how many clues it takes for you to correctly guess their identity. Here we go. Clue number 1. After measles took his sight in one eye during childhood, the beginnings of this English actor's career were on stage, where, after 12 years of acting, he made his debut on the West End in 1936 in a Terence Rattigan comedy. Shortly after, he starred with Vivien Leigh in a romantic comedy. Until his service in World War II, his career was primarily composed of film roles. Clue number 2. Although his career began as primarily a comedic actor in the United Kingdom, he later transitioned into both acting in the United States and acting in dramatic roles. In fact, his first Tony Award was for his portrayal of Henry VIII in the notable historical play Anne of the Thousand Days, and he also gained critical acclaim for his role opposite Elizabeth Taylor in one of the biggest blockbusters of the 1960s. Clue number 3. His most famous role came in a musical. The musical, a massive hit on Broadway for which he won a Tony, became just as successful as a film, for which he won an Oscar. Ironically, he was not a great singer, but the role famously requires very little in the way of singing talent for a lead role in musical theater. In fact, it turned out that his female counterpart in the film had her singing parts dubbed by another singer. He wound up reprising that same role on Broadway 25 years after he first performed it. Furthermore, our actor later sang a song that won the Oscar for Best Original Song. Clue number 4. He had a tumultuous personal life with 6 marriages, 3 of which were with actresses, that resulted in 5 children, all of whom have been involved in the performing arts in roles ranging from playwright to director to actor. His 3rd wife's death inspired a play by Terence Rattigan, who gave our actor his break, and our actor ended up playing the character based on himself. And clue number 5. Although he continued acting throughout the 70s and 80s, his activity diminished, and he retired from film in 1982, with his acting limited to the West End and Broadway. He passed away at the age of 82 in 1990 after a short bout with pancreatic cancer. Can you guess who it is? Our mystery person today is Sir Rex Harrison. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep an eye out for more of our videos. And remember, always keep smiling.